Hi everybody, this is the update for I think it's 28th today. Stupid that I don't know that. The day after yesterday. How's that? um, so the update from yesterday, or well, for today, but carrying on, continuation on from yesterday. So Dan and I prepared to go in guns a-blazing. We got there and we had to wait 30 minutes. The lady said she didn't know why, but we had to go wait 30 minutes. So we went and, excuse me, tried to figure out who we could talk to. We thought we'd go see if the social worker was in. And we called to make an appointment with the manager, the unit manager. Then we went back down. We walked into Mike's room, and lo and behold, they just did a circuit change. Yeah. So, okay. But Mike was doing really crappy. He still, sorry, my feet, I've got my feet on the, I didn't actually fart, it just sounded like it. It's my feet. See? Anyway, so the circuit change, and then they said he started to desaturate last night, and about 6 in the morning he wasn't breathing very well, like he was looking really uncomfortable with his breath. Anyway, so, and as I mentioned, the circuit was crapping out, and it actually crapped out really hard apparently by morning. But of course they didn't know whether or not they were going to change, because the doctor who was on said that no, we weren't going to actually change the circuit. Too bad, so sad kind of thing. And then they tried to do bronchoscopy with the crappy circuit, so they couldn't even get in because Mike desatted and was in the 70s, and so they had to abort that. So he's on 100% on everything right now, and still sitting around 90%. So he has nowhere to go if he starts to decompensate. So the doc said today that it was likely because of the crap circuit. So we changed it. Anyway, we did end up, so I should kind of go backward. We ended up talking to the social worker before we talked to the doctor. And I was kind of a little frustrated when we walked away from that one. And because of the way that Mike looked, we were definitely thinking we're having that talk. Anyway, so there was the unit manager, the unit manager, the charge nurse, Mike's nurse, Mike's ECMO specialist, Dan and I, and the doctor in the room. And because we decided we didn't want to do this over speaking around Mike anyway, we just wanted to, because we didn't know what we were in for. So then the doctor asked if we wanted to go with our questions first or whatever, and Dan said just hit us with it. And so the doctor said hit you with it anyway. So he started by, he said, I've not met Mike before, I've not worked with him before. He said I was involved, maybe I think he said a night or two before, because he was covering, but he met Dan, but he hadn't met me. And that's who came in, and he did a lot of research. He showed us the paper that he had with all his notes and stuff, and he kind of went through Mike from the beginning, from when he got sick and all that stuff. He kind of just went through everything, and he talked about how he's young and how he hasn't had any major events. He hasn't had sepsis. He did have sepsis, but nothing like too wicked. So, and his organs are functioning. He hasn't had a brain bleed. He hasn't had stroke. He, whatever. He hasn't had a massive heart attack. Any of that kind of stuff. Relatively healthy. So he said, well, he can't, like the CT said that he have some fibrotic changes, but they weren't sure, and so you can't tell from that. And so he said, well, we need time is the thing. We just have to do what we can and give him time and see what happens. And so then it was like everything that we were wondering about in our questions, essentially he mostly answered. And we understand the R2. He was downgraded to an R2, and when after this doc spoke to us, it all made sense. It's like, okay, yeah, no, he explained that if Mike had a massive heart attack, well, resuscitating him would put him in a worse spot than he is now, and so that doesn't make sense. And absolutely, he's correct. It doesn't make sense to do that. Like, it would be hideous, horrendous, terrible in every way. And so Dan did ask a few questions about, like, what does degrading look like? What does getting better look like? What do they need to see? He didn't focus on the fact that Mike's been here forever. He said, yeah, he's been here the longest that we've had, but he's not the longest ever. And which I thought was amazing that he brought that up, because every time I brought that up, everybody's like, oh no, but that's, whatever, that's walking ECMO and all this other stuff. I'm like, I didn't think so. But anyway, so he went over everything and just really thoroughly explained stuff. Talked about what he was thinking of doing, and then I said, and today, like, can we talk about today, like what happened today? He looks like he's had a bump now, he's doing crappy. And so he explained again, yeah, because it's probably because of that circuit and this and that and the other. And he said, I said, what about other treatments? Like, he said there's the high dose steroid, which they're currently and actively doing. The only thing is, like, Mike started, he spiked a temperature sometime last night, which they didn't tell me about. And the nurse today said they had to wait for the blood culture team, like, to get the blood culture to be drawn before they could give the antibiotics. When I got there, they still hadn't given antibiotics, and it didn't seem like there was any ordered. So I asked the nurse to please talk to the doctor about that, see if they could get some covering antibiotics, because if they wait for the cultures to come back, that's 3 days that gives the bacteria a chance to, like, take over. So he had an antifungal because they know he's got candida in his lungs or whatever because of all the antibiotics. I guess I should have asked about, why are we not giving him probiotics, but I should probably do that. We talked about high dose vitamin D. We talked about high dose vitamin C. He did have answers for things. We talked about CBD. He had answers for that too, like his thoughts on that. He said he's open to whatever other experimental drug thing that we can find. Just, bring it forward and he'll talk about it. We'll go over it together. The guy spoke to us with respect, with compassion, kindness, including us. We even talked about, should we get to that point of where we need to, like, withdraw treatment, like, Dan made very sure that it would be us, we would get there together, kind of thing. That, or he said certainly if the family decides enough is enough before he does, then of course he would, give his thoughts too. Like, if he said no, if he was on the other side saying no, well, there's still a chance. Like, so he talked about both sides of that, because I don't know, maybe he's had families that want to withdraw support before, I don't know, before it's time or something, I don't know. So that was great. Now, granted, he's only on for a week, so Dan and I talked about too how we would try to talk to him again and kind of make that care plan the care plan somehow, because he really did. He included us. He, just I don't know why this experience couldn't be like this the whole time. I don't know. But this man needs to teach doctors how to talk to people, I think. Um, this, not all doctors are like the experience I've had, but just honestly, family, we've been left out, like totally just bypassed. And AHS is about family centered care. The patient and the family should be involved in the treatment planning. I mean, I do this well, like I've not been doing it for years because I just got back with AHS, but that's all the stuff that we do annually. We learn about patient-centered care, we learn about family-centered care, and what do those things mean, and what does it look like, and all of that stuff. And care planning is really important, that the patient slash family are involved. It's really, really super important. So yeah, we're just, we're grateful for this week. I mean, both of us left feeling like, okay, we can breathe now and things make sense. It doesn't change the way that, Mike's struggling right now. That part, nothing's changed there. Like, he's actually worse than he was yesterday and the day before. But we can deal now because we know what's going on. We're not constantly wondering, like, what the heck? We're being told this, that, the other. And then he did make a good point too. He said, maybe don't ask the staff so much, like the nurses, because they don't maybe have the whole picture. They only know what they see or what they know at the time. So he said, if you're really, to have questions, just ask for me and I'll find you. I'll come to you as soon as I can and talk with you about stuff again. Like, why could this have not happened for the whole frigging 6 weeks or whatever we've been here already? So that's the outcome. Mike is struggling right now. I'm hoping it's just the body's reaction, as he said, to the new change of the circuit. I don't recall him having this kind of reaction before, but maybe he did, and I just don't remember. So, that being said, please send whatever strength, love, healing, if you do Reiki, energy work, prayers, send it all, please, to Mike. I still really hope he can prove people wrong, like prove these doctors wrong about him, that he is just a sloth and he's going to take time. But the longer, of course, he's taking, the harder it is, because I guess we just have to see what this fever is about, and hopefully that's not going to take him out. And so that's where we sit. I will keep you updated after tomorrow sometime. And I'm going to try to phone during the night to see if he did get that antibiotic or not. So I'll leave it there. And I'm sorry that it's such a late video. But we really had a hell of a time today. And I just want to thank the multiple people who really helped us out today. I mean, sending us phone numbers and policies and really doing everything to look for what we needed to do and where we could reach out and who we might need to talk to and to get stuff rolling if we had to. And thank you so much. I mean, it was like a team of knowledgeable individuals that just pounced on trying to help us today, and thankfully we didn't end up having to go that route, and I feel very blessed and just relieved that that didn't have to happen. But we were really prepared, so thanks. For you all know who you are. Thank you for taking your time and effort um, to help us, because it just feels it's such an impossible place to be in when you feel like that. And again, I think I need to somehow try to make this something that I pursue, is from my experience, maybe trying to help teach staff, maybe, um, on how to talk to families, because we are there and we do matter, and it's not just about the numbers that they see and the, you know, the adjustments that they have to make. There's people sitting there in chairs that are scared and confused and really do matter. And if I feel this way as a healthcare professional, which people feel like who aren't, and yeah. Anyway, it's getting long again. I love you all. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here and continuing to offer your love and support. And be safe. Keep your loved ones close. And tell them that you love them every opportunity you get. Give them a big squeeze. Hope you all have a good rest. Good night.